Good morning. My name is Drew Gerber. I work for Harper Industries here in Harper, Kansas. Today we're going to do a brief video showing you how to initially set up your BeefCake after you get it installed on your pickup. What we're showing here today is a show trailer and the cake feeder setup. This is used at different shows whenever we are limited on space in our booth and we don't want a whole truck in there. So as we begin, I want to point out that you will have a cardboard box, like similar to this one, that comes in your hopper. This is where all of the components that make your feeder actually work are located. So as we open up this box and kind of go through the contents, what we have is our remote, which controls everything. The operator's manual is in here, as well as your warranty registration. We have the power cables that we run up to our batteries. Probably the two pieces that we get the most questions about, though, are these two bags of loose hardware. These are really important, and I'm going to show you why here in just a minute. First off, though, we're going to go through and we will hook up your remote so that we can actually function this unit and we can get into some of the details. Now that we got the remote plugged in, we're going to go ahead and lower this down our chute, and then that's going to expose here where we're going to where you, the producer, can decide how you want to feed. And that's where it becomes important of you deciding which one you want to use. So the first component we're going to talk about is, you'll notice that we have a long bolt in here. This long bolt is utilized whenever you want to operate this feeder in what we call the trip mode. What this does is at every revolution of the augers, then it allows that door to open and close. And so I'm going to install this here real quick and let you see how that operates, and then we will make an adjustment and show you the other method. Alright, now we've got this unit set up to feed in what we call the trip method. And so I'm going to turn it on here for you and let you actually see how that works, and that you can correlate every revolution to the door opening, which will allow you to feed in piles. The thing that's important to kind of keep track of, I guess, on this unit is that every revolution we have a counter on here, and you see that light that went off, so that's signifying that it counted a revolution. One of the tricks with this unit is that if you're paying attention to your counter, if you shut the switch off, if you turn the auger off, I should say, once you see that number roll over, that auger will always wind down and your bolt will be in a down position, ensuring your door is closed. So one of the sounds that you heard was a spring going up and down. We rely on this spring to maintain that door closed. So sometimes a producer will want to feed in a trough or something like that, but the unit is set up to feed in piles like this. And so to accommodate that, we actually have a slot over here on this side where we can take this spring and move it into the up position. And what it will do is it'll actually prop that door open for you, and so that you can still feed in a line while physically set up to feed in a pile. And so I'm going to demonstrate that for you here real quick. Notice how that door props open since I moved that spring. And so I'm going to turn it on here again for you, and you can watch this unit operate with the door sprung open. Doesn't do any damage. There's still plenty of room for that bolt to navigate. And if you notice, light comes on. I shut it off. It ends up in the down position then, and it will allow your door to close. Now we're going to go through and I'm going to take this all apart, and I'm going to show you the other component that we have in our bag, which is basically feeding in a line. So the other plastic bag that you're going to have in there is going to have your other method for feeding. We call it the kicker here at DewEze, and so basically it's a piece that attaches here to your chute. It grabs a hold of this piece right here, which is held closed with the spring. It holds your door closed, but what it's going to happen is as you lower the chute down, it is going to automatically kick that door open, allowing you to feed in a line. And so I'm going to go through the process right now for installing that, and we'll show you what that looks like and how it operates. So basically what you're going to need is your 1/2-inch wrench and a Allen wrench, and we're going to take this top bolt off, and then we will place the kicker up there. There's already a square hole in here that allows you to put your other hardware, and so your feeder comes from the factory with the ability to feed in either method. Okay, so once we get that kicker installed, which you can see over here on this side, it's going to, as it pivots down, it's going to grab a hold of this door and work against that spring, and it's going to open it up just like that. So as we turn it on, again, to show the kicker, I mean, it's just going around and around, just like the other method. We just don't have that bar in there, or that you can see the light coming on with every revolution, corresponding to your hand control. The only thing that's different is that you don't really have to pay attention to the orientation here, right? So with that bar, when we're in an up position, it would hold that door open. With this kicker installed, we don't care where that auger is in regards to where, relative to its revolution. And so we just flip up the chute and it stays shut. On this side of the unit, we have this spring. And so every cake feeder comes with this spring on it. And so basically, when it's in the up position, when it moves around its arc, it's going to hold that chute up against the hopper. When you go down, it goes over center, so then it holds that chute down into the down position. Last item I want to talk about is our actuator and how to properly install it. The actuator that we offer on our BeefCake is an option, and so you can add it on after the fact. But what I want to point out is that there's a few tricks. Like, you need to make sure that you install it properly and the orientation is correct. And so if you look at our actuator, you can see that it has this motor here on the bottom side. Whenever you're installing it, you need to make sure that this is pointed down. If you don't do that, there is a high likelihood that you could damage this actuator piece here. And so I've already got it plugged in. It's plug and play on the back side, so it's easily added after the fact. But I just want to go ahead and install this, show you how it operates, and a few tricks to make sure that, one, your chute is going all the way down, but then also whenever you're using your actuator, that your chute is pulled tight against your hopper then as well. Okay, for this part of the procedure, you're going to need a 7/16" wrench. You get your actuator. I already have it plugged in here on the back side so that I can manipulate this shaft and get it to line up pretty easily with this hole. The one thing I want to point out is that there's a slot on this back side where the actuator mounts, and then there's a hole right here. It's important that you remove any slop that is present, and so that basically your actuator is going to extend far enough so that your chute goes all the way down. If you notice that the chute isn't quite going all the way down, you feel like it should go down more, or you can come out here and you can push on it and make it go down more, it's because you need to, in that slotted piece, we're going to get it installed, and then we're going to pull it down to ensure that we remove all of the room, all of the wiggle room that's present in that slot. So now we should be able to extend this all the way down. So then it's all the way in the down position. So one of the other important things that why we want to make sure we take out all that slop on that slotted piece is that the chute needs to be as far extended as possible. Another one of the common things that we've seen is that you may try and get the feeder centered up in your truck, but not actually remove this dummy arm. And so that's one of the reasons that we came out with this slotted dummy arm that you're seeing here, is that will allow your feeder to be more centered on your truck and allow the chute to go down and be fully extended. So now I've showed you the two different methods that the customer can choose to set up how they want their feeder to operate. Neither of those methods are installed whenever it leaves the factory here, and so You, the consumer, the producer, you need to decide how you want your feeder to be set up, and then we can make that happen. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you learned a little bit. Any questions, please feel free to contact any of our sales or service team. They'd be happy to help you in any way possible.